Roselands Hill, as you've seen it before. A quick bit of history is it started with this green layout that we bought on eBay, and we've then extended it. However, it is really in the way. This is supposed to be a bit of a playroom and storage, and there's a cupboard there. So we've made the decision to take it all apart, and this will now go up in the loft, which will be the main Roselands Hill. And the little original layout will become, we haven't got a name for it yet, and that will become the layout in here. As you can see, we've started taking the wiring and everything apart and the bolts, and we're now going to try and take it all apart and get the remains of this hopefully up in the loft. And we'll then have two layouts to do films on, the main one in the loft and the little hill. The idea originally was there was going to be a hill there and a hill here, and obviously the hill over the back and the big hill there. So we will see what we do with the new layouts. Update from earlier. This is where you saw the layout that was going to be taken down, which was quite a challenge. That's now gone. Our little layout is now in the corner, but it is eventually going to go back here. I can tell you that if you put bits of a layout up into the loft that have got very fine ballast on, it does sting when it gets in your eyes. And this obviously is the engine you saw earlier. And as I say, this is going to become our, if you like, easy to get at layout, while the main one is done in the loft. And then ultimately we'd like this to be an exhibition layout. So if anybody out there is watching this and would like to invite us to an exhibition when it's finished, that would be wonderful. Here we're going to put this point with an attached point motor on the top of the hill. So we've cut a hole, square hole, using a standing knife in the top of this 10mm thick card, and then using one of these, which is a drill attachment with lots of disc cutters, we've cut a big hole, as you can see down there, in the baseboard for all the wires to go through, and then we're now going to stick this on.
Good.
Good evening and welcome to Greenhill Halt second update. We've done quite a bit of work. Those of you that have been watching it, and there's quite a lot of you, thank you very much, will know that I think the last one we just started doing these hills. What we've done since is we extended it to here, and then we realised that the whole of this bank, rather than being retaining wall, would look good as hill. So that's now all been blended in, so you've got one big hill. I don't think you've seen the trees, so we've now got a nice little wooded area running around this bank, and also a couple of trees up there. We've painted the little miller's hut, and that's all been put on there. That's been weathered with a nice rusty effect. And obviously the big change is the windmill. It's a standard daypole windmill, been weathered, and then what we've done is, rather than try and do some clever fiddly brickwork, we've used brick paper around the bottom, which has really given a great effect. So I'm very, very pleased with the hill area. Then working our way down the bottom now, we've got our barn stuck on, and that's an old building I had for wargaming, so that's going to look great there. The reason we have a packet of cows is where the cows are is going to be a cattle dock, so that siding will now become a cattle dock, and that will link into Greenhill Halt, which is the little halt there. Now we were going to scratch build a halt, we are going to scratch build the cattle dock, but we managed to get that very cheaply on eBay. Don't need on that sun, it's not that strong. On eBay, so that's going to look great. They're all painted up, and that will be the halt. The water tower's been stuck on, and we've now done the internal walls for these tunnels, and Douglas has started brick papering them at the front so that when you look through you can see the brick paper, and then we'll start ballasting those, and then we can get the top on. And some of you will have seen the video we've done on scratch building buildings, and I've started building scratch building our own goods shed, because we had a bit of a trouble getting the goods shed that we wanted. So it's quite a bit gone on, and then hopefully in the next week we're going to get a bit more done. But we have got the whole hill area done now. You get quite a good view of it. There we go. And that's obviously really beginning to look like a model railway layout now. So lots happening, and we'll do some more updates as we work along, and little bits of video of various projects. Good evening and welcome to a very overdue update for Greenhill Halt. We've got quite a lot done. You can see here at the back that we've taken all the hill off at the moment, and this is because we wanted to reconnect this point so that we can get the inner loop going. I got there's a fantastic second-hand model railway shop at Ticehurst in Kent, if anybody wants to go, and I got those 2-point motors for £2 each. So we had a bit of fun getting them in place and wired in, but they're all in now. So we've got the 2-point motors. We've decided also we put an extra siding in here. I built, as a little exercise to see how it would look, this little loco dieseling shed out of corrugated card and brick paper. We decided we would like that used on the layout, so we've added another little siding off of this one, so we've added another point. Where the little shed is at the moment, that's going to be a signal box of some description. So in this corner now, I can't remember if we'd done the station last time.
No.
So the big change obviously is the station. So this has been, I've scratch built this out of cardboard and brick paper. That's the front of it. We've got posters and everything, and then obviously on the back we've got a canopy and some doors.
Surely you call that the front?
No, the front's where you come in, really. And it's built to go there. That's our little letter phone box
you
that we
could
got.
go through like Hornby Scaledale and pay about £5 for these, but when we were on holiday, there was a shop and it just had these metal phone boxes, and they're only £1.99, and it fits really well.
And talking about money, that engine shed basically cost me about 30p to make. The station building, I got a card again from the second-hand shop, 20p a sheet, used one sheet and a bit of super quick, so that's really cost us next to nothing. So this little scene's all the scratch built buildings. We're going to put a little hill in here with some trees on to give us a break from the daypole kind of village in there. And obviously we've then got to build a somewhat bigger hill still here coming down and in. So quite a lot going on. Can you get around so we can show the tunnel mouths? So we've built 2 new tunnel mouths out of the same cardboard that we got, put coping stones on the top. Douglas stuck a little fence there to neaten it up, and we're also going to put that retaining wall down there. So that's most of what's happened. We've got some more trees coming as well. We've just literally started building the retaining wall through here. I think you're probably better with a longer shot. And then the really important news is we've got our first booking for an exhibition, and we're booked in to do the Bluebell Railway Model Railway Show on the 27th and 28th of June next year, 2015. So if anybody would like to come and see the finished layout, we will be exhibiting there. And lots to do to keep us busy, and we'll do an update again soon. Good evening and welcome to another little update for Greenhill Halt. We've done a little bit more since we last did an update. The main change is at the back here. We were, as you saw, originally this was all covered in and there was going to be quite a big area there, but we've realised, especially when we exhibit, that we need a little area here to organise trains, a bit like a fiddle yard, and possibly a fiddle yard off here. So the idea we've come up with is to cut away the hill. This will then have a backboard on it, and then that will give us a little area there to work with. You can see, same as before, we've done scrunch grass, hilltop, all scattered in, which has worked really well. And I guess you've seen all the buildings, but we've now got the little engine shed, the station and the goods shed. I've got a scratch build, a signal box to go there. We've put surface point motors down here. They're hidden at the moment, but on the points. Little Hornby ones out of the way. Just tucked on there's a couple of little Triang short body coaches, which we're hoping to do up, repaint, because the very long coaches don't get on quite so well with the layout. So there are a couple of nice 00 short ones there, but they're going to need a bit of work. And then you can see we've got a signal here, we're going to have a crossing keeper's hut. So it's all coming along quite well. The other new thing there is a little hill. The idea is I wanted to put a bit of a scenic break between the daypole village and the card buildings. So we put a small hill in there with some trees. And it's all part, again, of making the station and the railway look like it's in the landscape, not just plonked down on top of it. You can see where the grass is darker. And one of the things we've been doing is very laboriously going around with a dropper and re-ballast gluing all the scatter. I know you can use hairspray and things, but we thought we'd have a go with the ballast. And that's worked really well. So this is hard and all the grass is solid. And so we've got to do that there. But as you can see, looking at now, all we've really got is this little area through the top to finish. And then we're going to be getting very near having finished the layout.
So, it's almost done.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Close to finishing.
Close to, well, on the final straight.
Yeah. So, that's all. And see you next update.
Good evening and welcome to another update for Greenhill Halt. Not really sure where we got to last time, so I'll do a bit of a talk through everything you can see. Obviously, we got a new home. We were up in the spare bedroom,
Which is up there.
but we are now in
The
conservatory. I think they need to see the conservatory.
Okay.
So this is its new home and we've got some cunning plans for it. So some of the changes, we've now got our level crossing and our road put in. So we've got the road all the way round. We've added the fencing. Obviously the whole station yard now is beginning to look quite complete. We've got the engine shed, the goods shed, the station, the signal box. Is that still filming all right? Mm. We've also had quite a few changes backwards and forwards down here, trying to get on the points. One of the ideas we've got is to extend this off, and we've played with different points, but it affects the running. So ready for the exhibition, we've put it back like this to give us a bit of a siding to load locos on. So really now, very nearly finished. We've got a little gatekeeper's hut there, crossing keeper's hut, which also is hiding the sunken point motor. The village green is done. You can see the gravel path around the village green. If we can find it, we've got a little war memorial to go in there. We've just started experimenting with hedges up on the hill. These are actually cut from this, which is big sheets of pan scourer. They cost us about 10p each. The plan was to use them to do sheets of grass, which I still might on a layout, because as you can see from there it does look quite grass-like. But we've cut it up and used it for hedges, which we're quite pleased with. It's going to stick on like that. And we might paint it, we might scatter it, or we might just leave it as it is, as you can see. So generally, quite a bit going on. And very nearly finished. Bit of work to do in the station yard.
It's just like pretty much on the entire layout. There's just this bit of cardboard left.
That's it now, which when we were looking at some photos the other day, shows you how far we've come. We had a few problems with the point. The track hadn't quite joined, but we've managed to squeeze it down, excuse me, which has solved it. All the sleepers now are painted with the exception of a little bit of the station, and we'll get on with that. And obviously there's trees to go on these hills, there's the signal box to finish. But it's really beginning to look like a model railway layout. And then obviously we've got a lot of work to do on backboards and that sort of thing. I think the plan now is we're going to just run some trains for you to see. We've been experimenting with doing a banking engine up the hill, which looks quite good. And I've also got a couple of new Bobo diesels, which we might run round.
We've also been experimenting with camera tracks, but our camera is too tall to go through the tunnels, unfortunately.
Sadly, otherwise we could have done some film. We will be able to film around the outside though, and we will be able to film coming up the hill. So at a later date we'll try and put those on as well.